Hello and welcome to Google Calendar. This video is going to focus on creating events. There are two ways to create events. You can simply click on the date and it will bring up a window where you can put in the title and the time, or you can add a time later, or you can click on the plus sign. And so here I'm going to walk you through. I've clicked on the 13th and I want to create an event. Now I have other options here. So an event is just a calendar event. I could select out of office, where it will send a message for that day that I'm declining anything new and it's because I'm out of the office. I can set up a reminder, which means it'll pop up each day until I've closed out that reminder to remind yourself of something. You can create a task that would show up in My Tasks, which is embedded in Google, in Gmail. Or if you're in an educational account, you can create appointment slots. This is only on an educational account, not on a personal account. But I'm going to go back and just work on creating an event. And so here you'll notice that it defaulted to the date that I chose. I can choose a different end date. And now I want to be more specific. I want to add a time. And so by clicking that, I can select the time and it'll default to the time that you're creating it, but you can change those times to any time you would like. And again, if you want to change that end date, you can change the end date. Now, if you'd like to invite a guest, all you need to do is start typing in either their name or their email address. And when you click on them, it will add them there. And then if you want to check their availability, you can select check guest availability, and it's going to show you your account and then the guest's account. So here you can see my other account. And so now it makes it easier to choose a meeting time that would work for both of you. If you want to add a location, you can go ahead and add in a location. And then once you've added in that location, you can also type in, or you can create a video conference, and it's going to default to Hangouts. But if you have Zoom, you can also make it a Zoom meeting by clicking down here. You can add a date description. So type in teach about calendar, and that way your participants can see any description you've added to it. You can also add it to a certain calendar. So if you don't want it to be put on your main calendar, you can add it to one of these other calendars. To get more options here, now you've opened up this full window, and you can also color code the event and make it a different color if you would prefer. You can show yourself as busy, and choose some of these features where other people, if they're looking at your calendar, they can see that you're busy or whatever. And so over here, when you're in the full screen, is where you can also add guests. And then these are the guest permissions. They can modify the event, they can invite others, they can see the guest list. Those are all up to you, what you want them to be able to see. Another thing that has popped up, because I assigned a specific time to this event, the option for all day has shown up. And here, if you don't want to assign it a certain time, but you just want it to be on your calendar, you can click all day. Here's some other options for how often this event occurs. If it's just a one-time thing, you don't have to do anything. If you want it to occur every day or every week on Friday, and you can see, and then if one of those don't fit, then you can click custom. And again, you can decide how often it repeats, every week, every month, every day, every year. What day it repeats on, when it ends. Maybe it never ends, maybe it ends on a certain date, or after it happens in your calendar so many times. So those are some other really nice options that appear when you click on more options when you're creating the event. And then once you're done adding all of your options, you can go ahead and save it. And if you're inviting a guest, it's always going to pop up and say, hey, do you want us to send an invitation email to the guest? And what'll happen is, in their email, it'll say they've been invited, and right there in that email, they can commit to the meeting, they can decline it, or even say maybe they'll be in attendance. So you can click send, or if you don't want to send it, or if you want to dismiss it. But I'll go ahead and send it. And now here, because it's an external guest, they're not within my domain, it's saying, hey, just to let you know, they are not in your domain. And so now you can see I've got it repeating every single week. On Friday was one of the options that I suggested. If I decide that I want to change it, all you need to do is click on the event and you can edit it, you can delete it, you can email the guests that are linked to it, or you have these other options here. You can duplicate it, you can copy it to another calendar, change the owner of it. So here what I want to do is I want to edit my event. I don't want it to happen weekly on Fridays. I want it to not repeat. I only want it to happen once. And so now it's just going to say, hey, you've updated it. Do you want to send it? Don't send it. Do you want to add a message with it? I'm going to click don't send. And so now you can see it's adjusted it on my calendar. And so that's the ins and outs of creating an event.